Um,
Okay, so welcome everybody for this new unique conversation in the Above the Physical podcast. And today our special guest is Marta, from originally from Poland and now based in Scotland. And Marta is another incredible connection that I got through Patrice Christofiak that we have interviewed a couple of weeks ago with Ken. So I am really grateful, Marta, that you accepted that you're here today. And I can't wait to ask you a lot of questions along the way. Yeah. So
Mm.
actually, we can just go on and then we see where do we go? Where do we get?
Hello, and thank you so much for having me. I am really, really grateful and excited because I also don't know where this conversation is going to take us. So yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, I'm going to briefly introduce you. Yeah, you are a spiritual teacher. You are a psychic medium, and you want to give people their power back in order for them to be able to connect with their loved ones. Yeah, and I think that this is going to be a very fascinating and interesting conversation because, in a different way, when I work with my clients, I also have this vision of giving them back their power
Mhm.
in order to understand how the subconscious mind works and how our brain works. So I really can't wait, but I think that I have to remember something I always forget. Ken starts laughing now because I actually don't know, because I'm not a very good professional video maker yet. I'm learning, but some people tell me that I have to do it in the beginning. Some people tell me that I have to do it in the end. Anyway, because in the end I most likely forget it, I like reminding the audience who is going to watch this video, this recording, to subscribe to my channel. If Marta wants, I will create a collaboration with this conversation with her channel, so you can subscribe to her channel too. I will put all the links in the description of this video. And if you are curious, ask questions, comments, and share these beautiful conversations with other people who might be on a similar journey, metaphysical journey, spiritual journey. I think that nowadays more and more people are becoming more curious and interested in everything that is invisible. Yeah, it's becoming more um, somehow more visible, even if we don't see it. So, with that said, I think that I've said everything that I needed to say. You can
And
start.
remember, when you
Oh,
subscribe, ring the bell and you'll get notifications. There's a little bell next to subscriptions.
thank you, Ken. You see that I never remember exactly everything that I have to say. All right, then. So now it's all about you, Marta. You start from wherever you want to start telling your journey and your message and what you love sharing with other people.
Hmm. I think I'll start by expanding on what you've started touching upon on who I am and how I support people because I truly believe of course, as human beings, we need various labels, but at my core, I consider myself to be a soul that doesn't like to be restricted. And I've never recognized limits the way I was told to. So my soul yearns for freedom, and I've stopped apologizing for that. And I consider myself to be a perpetual student of life. I follow what I feel. I let myself contradict myself. I truly believe that I don't need to be one fixed thing because there is a certain way a spiritual woman is expected to be, how she dresses, how serene she's meant to sound, and I don't fit it and I don't want it. I'd rather walk my talk than look the part, because in the end,
Mm.
I truly believe that none of the surface matters. And what matters is who you are in your heart and whether you're kind. And
Yeah,
yes, and this is what I try to remind my clients, my students when I work, whether during my readings or mentorship, it's all about them remembering who they are at their core level and bringing the power back to them.
fantastic. This is a
That's-
beautiful introduction. I already have plenty of questions. Ken, what about you?
yeah, yeah, I do. As as you mentioned, you're looking for your freedom. What does that mean to you when you say freedom? What does that mean to you?
Mhm. It depends whether we are going to talk about freedom in the spiritual business or freedom in life. In general, for me, freedom means that I am able to listen to myself. I am able to listen to my heart and I'm able to follow it, which means that I am quieting the external noises. I do not outsource my power. I really follow what I feel is right and what my soul's purpose is. And by me allowing myself to also change my mind
Mm.
once I've chosen a particular path, this allows me to feel free as well. And it allows me to expand and to also to tap into joy. For me, freedom and joy are connected somehow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Did have you always been on this path, or what brought you to this path?
Mm.
Mm. What I keep hearing in my mind is like, which path? Which path? Because there was never one door, and that's the truest thing I can say. People, I know, like as human beings, we want the single moment, the lightning strike, and mine wasn't like that. So it was a series of openings, and I truly believe it is still opening now. Of course, the first door, if I was to start somewhere, was childhood, though I didn't choose it and I couldn't have closed it. So the figures in the room, the woman in the headscarf that I saw as a child and I used to be frightened of. And as an adult, I found out that it was my great grandmother in spirit. Feeling everything in a room before a word was spoken. My childhood was very challenging because my reality was consistently being denied. I was told
Mm.
by various family members that those were nightmares. My physical body suffered. I had various hemorrhages, nosebleeds. My
Mm.
heart ache and it was in pain. And I was told that a heart cannot hurt because it doesn't have nerves. So even my body, like what I felt as a 4 or 5 year old child, I was told like, do not trust yourself. Um, so I'm not sure whether it's a starting point because a starting point would be also an awareness that what I experienced as a child was real. So I guess
Mm.
another door was a door to me being aware that I've always been a psychic medium. So
Mm.
I was in an abusive relationship and it took 4 years and a half. I went through a very complicated uh, court process. And I remember one day I was getting ready for one of the hearings. I felt very, very stressed. As you can imagine, I was very, very depressed as well. And all of a sudden, I started hearing the voice of my grandmother. And I knew it was her. I just didn't question because it came in a way that was so familiar, the way she phrased her sentences. It was very warm, uplifting. I just knew that it didn't come from me.
Okay, but did you
So
know her when she was alive?
yes,
I,
yeah, this is the grandmother. This is my grandmother that I've known. Yes.
okay.
Yeah. So this is how it started. And I had this knowing this is my grandmother. And this is how I started um, doing my own research online, how to communicate with spirit, because up until then, I have not even heard of psychic mediums. I didn't know they even existed. I was brought up in Poland. I was brought up in a Roman Catholic family.
Yeah.
Uh, None of my family members attended church. I attended church because I wanted. This was my place where it was my place where I was able to have a conversation with God, angels, and loved ones, which means for me it was normal. I've always spoken with the other side.
Okay.
Uh,
So
yeah.
since you were a child, and were you aware, you said you were not aware as a child, but did you think that other children were able to do the same, have a conversation with the other side? Did you assume when you were a child that other children were having similar conversations, or did you see the difference already?
I closed and shut those abilities very quickly, but in terms of communication with the loved ones, I assumed that everyone around talked with their loved ones because what happens is especially during funerals or when we physically lose our loved ones, people would say, "Oh, she's looking after you. She misses you." And so I just assumed like, "Oh, okay, you still carry on having a conversation with them." No, so I've never spoken about my experiences. I don't think as a child I was aware what was going on.
Mm.
So I wouldn't even be able to tap into any memories of any conversations with other friends. No one has ever mentioned about any mystical experiences in my childhood. So no.
Okay. And now we are going to just jump all through your growing up.
Hmm.
But if you have some other anecdotes that you want to share, you're very welcome. But when was the point you said I began digging more about spirit and how to dialogue? You
Hmm.
became more aware during this part of your life where you were having this legal issue,
Hmm.
if I have understood correctly. And then, so what kind of life were you having? And then when did the switch happen,
Uh-huh.
if it
Okay.
happened?
Yeah, of course. Yes. So I used to run my translation agency for over 10 years. I was finishing my PhD. I'm a social anthropologist. So on a paper, my life looked perfect. I was functioning, I was managing, I was actually very, very capable, but I truly believe I was disconnected from myself. But this disconnection started in childhood because I was told to not trust myself. Um, yeah. And then during this divorce, when I started hearing my grandmother, um, spirit just led me to different people. Let me tell you a couple of stories that will perhaps make it clearer. So, as I've told you, I had no doubt that it was my grandmother in spirit that started connecting with me. What happened next? Then I started Googling connecting with spirit, and I basically, well, I bumped into various spiritual teachers. And there were two particular people. There was one psychic medium, a known psychic medium who just published her book back then, and she used to do those beautiful talks about the ethereal world, about spirit. And she used to run a raffle, which means you were able to win a reading from her. And I remember one day I was about to leave home and collect my children from school. And one of my spirit guides said, "Oh, just send a picture of the book. You're going to get a reading." I'm like, "Come on, like, what are the odds of me getting a reading?" Um, and I've never had a reading before. I felt like, oh no, if anything, I'm going to pay myself for that reading. And he said, "No, just do it." I'm like, okay. I'm clearly clairaudient, which means I did it for the sake of him stopping talking, my spirit guide. So I did that. And then I carried on with my day, and I was woken up in the morning because of the time difference. I wasn't able to attend it live. And then Jimmy told me, scroll quickly to the very end of this live to this raffle results. And here there was this medium picking up names, and she picked up my name out of this basket. And there were like hundreds, thousands of people who enrolled.
Okay,
And
but who is Jimmy?
my spirit guide.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you have one or several spirit
I have
guides?
various spirit guides.
Various. And as you said, you're clairvoyant, so you really like hear their voices talking to you.
Oh yes, yeah.
It's not from inside your head, it's from the outside.
Well, it happens now internally. That's another story because as a child, I saw spirit with my naked eye. What I've learned as an adult is that you can set boundaries with the spirit world the way we set boundaries with the living. So I negotiated as I started opening up that there were certain things that were out of my comfort zone. When I started, after I've started hearing my grandmother, I started seeing like various random people in the spirit world in my corridor. Spirit would like poke me, they would appear in the middle of the night, and that would spook me. I was scared. My grandfather in the spirit world would tease me. He still has exactly the same sense of humor. He would be sitting with my grandmother, like both in spirit, in my kitchen, telling me, do not switch on the light unless you want to see us. So they were having a fun that I was scared because they kept telling me, how can you be scared? Like, it's us. But I had a conversation after I've learned from various teachers that like you can set this contract with the spirit that I want to see spirit in my third eye. And then also, so the way I hear it, it happens mostly internally.
Okay.
Unless I'm not paying attention, then I can hear an angel or someone calling Marta externally. And I can still see some shadows passing by, but that has stopped. And that has absolutely empowered me. And this is why I'm teaching now psychic mediumship development, because if I had known that as a child, that I could set those boundaries, that spirit was able, that spirit would listen, that would have changed everything.
Yeah, incredible. This is fascinating. And the fact that at one point you start also learning how to handle it. Yeah.
Yes.
So you were seeing spirits, but you're speaking about your grandparents, but you were also seeing other spirits. Because if you
Yes.
were only seeing your family members, you wouldn't be so scared, I guess. Yeah.
I still was scared of them. I still
Even.
was.
Okay.
I'll tell you another story because it was new. So
Okay.
I remember another story with the same grandfather. I don't know whether you've ever walked through a person in spirit. It feels like a cold air, like a jelly turbulences, like a very, it's weird. So I remember it was one night that I wanted to check whether my son was okay. It was 2 a.m. And then I entered his room and I got so scared and I ran away because I walked through spirit and it was my grandfather. I knew it. But then like he didn't feel sorry. He said like, I didn't know you would be entering Anthony's room at 2 a.m. Like, come on. Like I was just like overlooking him. And that was spooky because I've never experienced that. So then I was just fine. I think anything that is new to our conscious mind, to our logical mind, like we need a little bit of reassurance that like we're safe. It is okay. So I needed to test it for myself, but my loved ones, they still have the same personality, which means they would still tease me.
Yeah. And this is all the time confirming what I see all the time, that we are all so different in the way we perceive this invisible energies or whatever, however spirit want to call, because maybe not many people can feel in their bodies if they're walking. Actually, we might be walking through spirits all day long,
Mhm.
and we don't even know it. But because we are so different, you have this also, not only the clairvoyance, not the clairaudience. You had also the clairvoyance, but you have this perceptive ability of feeling the energy of spirit if you walk through it. So
I am very clairsentient, and well, I think it's important to mention that there is nothing better or worse. I have people who come and tell me, "Oh, I wish I could see more." I'm like, it doesn't really matter. First of all, spirit, every person in the spirit world, every angel, spirit guide, they have their unique blend, their own language. It's not even language the way they, let's imagine, well, if we think about human beings, every human being, we have our favorite words, favorite, the way we phrase things. And it's the same spirit world works. So first of all, like different loved ones, if your grandmother was outspoken, maybe, perhaps, highly likely she's going to speak more. But it doesn't mean that you're going to hear her more, because as a human being, but also a soul, having this human experience, you have your own unique ways of how you perceive the spirit world. And I don't think one is better than the other. As long as you remove your ego aside and you allow yourself to get out of the way and you trust that this is real, I think this is where the magic happens. And you can then experience things in a way that you have not expected. Because if you set an expectation that, oh, I am going to connect with spirit now and I should hear them, you are denying yourself of that other experience, because perhaps you're going to smell something, your grandfather's favorite cologne, or perhaps you're going to taste your grandmother's favorite cake. I love when they do it, and I can tell my clients sometimes the ingredients of a cake because I love food. So they use my point of reference.
Yeah. This is funny and at the same time fascinating.
And it is to be funny. This is what the spirit world wants us to know. We can get profound collective downloads, but spirit wants us to have fun. That includes the loved ones on the other side, angels and spirit guides. The way I speak with you right now, that's how I speak with my spirit guides. So there is no separation. As human beings, we sometimes think, oh, they are older, but they're like closer than we think. And I think that removes the fear, the human fear, when it comes to connection with the spirit world, when we can just...
Yeah, there are two things that come to my mind and I have to put them out, and then Ken, you have all the time to ask your questions, but sorry. Two things different, because while you were speaking about your relatives having the same energy, actually I had an experience with a medium that I connected with in the end of last summer. And I wanted to ask some questions to a relative that had passed when I was a kid, because he came in my dreams and he wanted to tell me something. And because I got so scared of the surrounding I saw in the dream, I just woke up and he never came back. So, but with him, when I had the reading with her, with Lisa Nolan-Chalowski, that we have interviewed, actually, she's so joyful. And so at one point she said, oh, there is another male figure. And she was explaining me that according on which side she felt this energy would be my mother's side or my father's side. And then she asked me a couple of questions and we assumed it was my father, but she said, he's laughing so much. And I was like, but he was never laughing when he was alive. So this was also something completely, and I think that it is possible, that a soul comes to live a certain experience during an earthly life, but then maybe they have suppressed the soul energy completely. And when they are free again from the body, they go back to their original energy. So maybe not every soul, when they are in their body, in their physical body, they have fully connected with their souls, and the energy is completely different. And the other thing is, when you have you ever watched the movie Ghost?
Yes.
Okay, so do you speak with spirits like normally, like loud, or do you speak with them mentally? Because I
I
remember the scene in
Mhm.
the movie where the main character is a ghost and he's really like stalking the medium because he wants her to go and talk with his
Mhm.
girlfriend, and she's like, no, 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 stop, stop, stop. She doesn't
Mhm.
want to listen to him, but she cannot help because in the movie she cannot put the boundaries. Yeah, she hasn't learned how to limit that communication. What about you?
Well, normally I speak with them in my mind, but sometimes I forget myself, especially when I'm driving in a car and then my children are asking me, "What are you? Who are you talking to?" Yeah, it's normally in my mind. But sometimes when I'm tired of especially my mom, because this will maybe touch upon like your first, well, not question, but like a reflection. So my mom is on the other side, and it's only on the other side that she has become the mother she was never able to be here on earth. And she jokes a lot, and there's such lightness with her. So we are able to speak. But sometimes I don't want to listen to her because she still has her own opinion, but she always finds her own ways of making me listen. And I talk about it often when I don't listen to her, because I can hear her clearly. I can close my eyes, I can still hear her. Then she plays Tina Turner. Uh, but not only I hear Tina Turner, my friends who know that my mom is in the spirit world will start over the last year, they started hearing Tina Turner, which means then they contacted me, Marta, can you listen to your mom because we cannot stop like bumping into
Tina Turner
Tina
is a
Turner. So
signal.
she's well, it's her like, come on, like, can you dedicate a little bit of time and listen to me? So she's got this lightness to her soul, but at the same time, I truly believe that it's all about finding a way for the spirit world, for our loved ones to find their own unique way, how they are going to make your human self believe that it is them who are actually communicating. So that's why we're talking then about the evidence. Normally, when we channel as mediums other people's loved ones, they are going to have exactly the same personality
Mm.
like they've had here on Earth, because this is what's going to be something that you can really distinguish, that will make you know, oh, this is definitely my mother. But then, as you've mentioned, because on the other side there's no suffering, there's no pain, spirit is able frequently to express itself in a much lighter way.
That's clear, absolutely clear. Yeah. I have plenty of other questions, but now, it's your turn.
Okay. Um, just out of curiosity, when like you're communicating with your grandparents, right? Do do they communicate with you in Polish, or do they communicate with you in English or in any other language that they may speak?
Yeah. It doesn't really matter. Well, the funny thing is that here on Earth, I used to work as an interpreter and a translator, and I still consider myself to be an interpreter, because spirit, they don't have a toolbox and they use all those clairs. So that's their language, how they communicate. It's normally in Polish, but because I've been here in Scotland for so many years, sometimes I receive it in English because I sometimes think in English myself. So it depends. I normally speak back to them in Polish, but sometimes I might be in that loop of thinking, and most days I speak in English. So then it comes, what's important, I think, for people to know is that you will always understand spirit. It doesn't matter. There are no boundaries. They find a way of communicating. Um, yeah, which I find fascinating.
Yes, yes. I just as you talked, that made me curious to see like as they communicate, what are they communicating you with, and does it transcend like I have a Polish grandmother that spoke only a few words of English all the time that I knew her. So I would love to communicate with her because there's some stuff I'd like to ask her.
And I think you can. Well, there's a funny story that keeps popping into my mind. Years ago, I was like, someone recommended me to do a reading. So, in one part of the US, there was a group of mediums, and there was this client who wanted to connect with their loved ones in the spirit world. And one of my mentors told me that none of the mediums were able to connect with the person's loved ones because those people spoke Polish, which is so funny. Because when I connected with that woman's loved ones, what they said is that they just wanted to communicate through me. So that's why they refused to speak with them. So this was a joke. Because you should, it's not even should, you normally understand there is no such thing. You interpret things, that information gets filtered through your own point of reference. That includes the way you perceive language. Which means I've recently had a client whose mom was Mongolian, and then I could hear things in English, but those
It's
people
the same that
in the
happened
spirit
with
world, they
my
didn't
father and
speak.
my uncle. Same thing happened because they didn't speak English. The medium that I connected with is American, so she doesn't
Mhm.
speak Italian, but
The only thing is,
she
mhm.
could translate or
And
interpret.
you can translate, interpret it. The only thing is that uh, if you do come from a similar, let's call it cultural background, you might be able to interpret in a quicker way songs, food, because this is your point of reference. But you can still do it without it, and you can still like imagine that you're communicating with someone in the spirit world who's absolutely from a completely different parts of the world, and they bring a familiar dish, but it doesn't mean anything to you. You can still ask the spirit world because it's a living communication. It's a soul. Soul never dies. I'm not like scanning for information from the spirit world. I am speaking with them, which means that I can ask them, okay, what are the ingredients of that dish? And then they can show me, or I can smell, I can taste, and then I can tell my client, okay, this is that. And then they say, okay, yeah, this is the dish that's, yeah, we prepare on for that particular celebration. So you can still do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might be easier.
Now I
Uh,
have, yes, Ken, I have something, I
I,
have to write it down because it's quite complicated. You ask your question while Marta answers.
I love that. There's a few things I'd like to ask my Polish grandmother about. I'm glad you mentioned like what are the ingredients because there's a few recipes that I would love to know what she did and how she did it. So I'm going to play with that.
Yeah.
Um, Now, do you not only do you interpret for people and do that work, but you also guide other people to be able to communicate with spirit? Are you doing both those? And the second part of that question, if you are, can everybody do that, or do they need special training? How would you tell someone who wanted to explore that realm what to do?
Okay. So I'll start from this. I truly believe that every person is able to communicate with their own loved ones because there is a heart-to-heart energetic cord and a connection. So our loved ones, they are not here in a physical form, but they're still by our side. They are not gone, which means everyone is able to establish or re-establish a connection with their own loved ones. I don't think everyone is able to communicate with other people's loved ones. I think it is like someone used that analogy. Not well, everyone can sing. Not everyone will be able to sing
like Frank
Well, it
Sinatra.
might be something like you can master. So I truly believe that everyone is able, we are all intuitive beings, which means that we can really tap into our soul expression. We can follow our intuition. We can enhance our psychic abilities in terms of reading other people's, the living people, energy, being able to make those day-to-day decisions that are best for us. I truly believe that. And then, of course, there are various ways of how you can start that communication with your loved ones. And I would say for those people who are not mediums, or even they might not even know, but or have no interest, they just want to speak with their own loved ones. I think the first step is just to ask them, like your loved ones, and tell them, like, hello, I would like to hear from you. And the simplest way is to ask for those signs and symbols. Ask your loved one for a sign. Show me a sunflower if you're around. And of course, our logical mind is going to dismiss it. Oh, that's trivial. That's like, oh, like, is this even real? But it's about even writing it down so many times where you can't deny. So your loved ones are going to show you the sunflower on a billboard, or you might hear a song. So you can, and the more you're going to see that sign, you can say, oh, thank you, I've seen it. And then you encourage your loved ones. So that's like one of the first way I would encourage people. But also, like Sabrina mentioned, that she communicated, or her loved ones communicated with her in dreams. And dreams are the easiest way, a starting point for us humans in terms of being able to access the other realm, because our brain waves are very quiet, our logical mind doesn't interfere, which means that another simple way, because it is to be simple, is to ask before you go to sleep, please, mom, come and visit me. And I want everyone to know, when you have those dreams with your loved ones in spirit, that those are not just dreams, those are visitations. And then you can always have a journal by your bedside, and you can write down anything that you remember. You can ask your loved ones questions before you go to bed. Like, can you tell me something? It's about opening yourself to that possibility. And once you accept that it is real, then your loved ones are going to find their own unique ways of how to make you even more. Um, I don't want to say believe, like they'll find a way of communicating with you, because yeah, that's what this is what keeps coming. And then, like, the other part of your question is that yes, I do have a psychic mediumship academy, and I've been training other psychic mediums how to tap into their own, I don't call them gifts, abilities to connect with the spirit world. Because what I've realized is that, yeah, I've been through so many different courses myself, and so many people, they have to overcome their own fears, their own, like, fear of judgment. And what I try to do in my courses is I want every person to be able to tap into their own abilities. I want them to be themselves. I want them to really do things their way. Uh, and I've started doing those courses because there were various things I didn't know as a child, which means that any of the courses that I ran, they covered the basics of energy protection, grounding yourself, because I truly believe you should not connect with the other side without having the basics covered, which means I think it's very important to ground ourselves in this human experience, to be here and to know how to work with the other side, how to protect our energy, how to set intentions. What are the energies I want to communicate with? Because I only speak with the energies, what I say, who walk in a white light of God, which means that when I do intuitive sessions, I only invite loved ones, angels, and guides. And that
So you filter,
brings some,
you manage to
I
filter
feel.
them.
I filter, and that creates a safety for my students as well, because it's the same you communicate with other people here on earth. You're not going to listen or take advice from a random stranger. Well, you might, but I think it's so important to be discerning what you're opening yourself up to. And that's very empowering because when you realize I can just set an intention, what are the energies I am going to bring forward, then there is nothing to be scared of. This is one of the common things that people come to. I'm just scared, I'm going to hear something bad, but you can set boundaries with the spirit world. I don't want to hear this and that. I'm only open for this and that, whatever it is that you want to or you are okay with.
But do you
So yes.
think, I interrupt you here, Marta,
Oh no,
because
okay.
there are some very gifted or activated persons that cannot help because they are meant to go through this experience. They are also meant to receive the other types of energies, not only the ones that come from the light. Because I think that some souls come here to live that and to experience that too. So I try to make together all the things that I wanted I would like you to tell me from your perspective, yeah? Because you have mentioned souls, so you speak and you channel souls, and you say that they are always with us, the dear ones. So there are two thoughts and two questions. First of all, why their energy stays with us if they're supposed to evolve in the spirit realm? One. Two, is it possible that the soul and the spirit energy go like to different dimensions once they leave, once the body is not there anymore? We have had someone as a guest telling us that he doesn't believe that the soul and the spirit are within the body, but they are energies that are surrounding us. Yeah, we interviewed Nelson, and his vision of these energies is a bit unique. But anyway, because I think that I did some exercise with him, and I could feel the difference in the energy of soul and spirit. It's completely different energy. The higher self, spirit, and the soul is more heavy. It's more dense than the higher spirit. And so if they're supposed to be growing and evolving and doing their stuff on the other side, why do they keep coming to us? And another thing came to my mind is you say your loved ones, they are with you, but are we always, as souls, are we always really choosing our soul family to experience this life? So is it really that the souls that are playing the roles of our family in this life are also part of our soul family? Or maybe they are not. Maybe they were souls that we agreed we would go and have this experience in this life to learn some lessons, but maybe they're not their soul's family. I don't know if I made myself clear enough, but
I'll start answering and you'll have to keep reminding me because I truly believe whatever we are meant to discuss, it's going to be discussed. So when it comes to souls coming back and our loved ones coming back so that we can still feel their presence, I truly believe that they do it for us because as human beings, we are meant to experience grief. We are meant to experience complicated human experience. This is part of our, like everyone's purpose. Most of us, I think, or everyone, and we've agreed to come here to be able to experience, well, the polarity of very complicated experiences, which means that they do it for us. The beauty of not being restricted by a soul, it is that they are able to carry on learning the lessons, carry on elevating, and they can still keep coming back. It is like archangels that are able to support so many people at the same time. So it is our human perspective that tries to, like when we allow ourselves to just believe that it doesn't have to be one or the other, that it can happen all at the same time, I think it becomes a little bit clearer. But definitely what you've mentioned, you've experienced the sensations in your body, or you could feel a dense energy of loved ones in the spirit world. And this is how if I got it right. And this is how I teach some of the students as well. This is how I feel a difference as well in terms of the vibration and energy. Our loved ones, they have this earthly undertone. Some people smell it. Some people can feel the dense energy. This is definitely a loved one in spirit, someone who walked this earth. And then angels, I can't describe, it's difficult to describe using words, but they're all more like fluffy, ethereal. They just embrace you with that unconditional love. It feels energetically different.
Yeah.
And then spirit guides, if I use my clairsentience, like they feel different as well. So it is a different vibration and different energy. You've asked something about what was it? Soul family. Yeah, I don't.
Yes,
Well, I
yes,
definitely don't. Oh,
because you
soul
said
family.
that our loved one stay with us because they love us, and we love each other. But not every soul comes here and their family are loving. So I assume that
Mhm.
not every soul agrees to come and live certain experience with their soul family, playing the role of their earthly family. But this is my assumption. Yeah, it's not because I have
Mhm.
a truth here.
Mhm.
What is your
Mhm. I don't
perspective
know
on
what
that?
I don't know whether I understand you right, so I'll just reply what I feel and then like please fill in me. Well, I truly believe we do have the soul contracts. We come here on earth playing particular scripts. Which means the most challenging people or people who hurt us the most are our biggest teachers, because maybe in another lifetime the roles were reversed. I think every single person that we encounter, whether it is a person in a supermarket, there are no coincidences. They are to teach us something so that we can grow, we can evolve, but there's a free will. We can choose not to evolve and grow, which means I truly believe in life lessons. There are certain fixed lessons that we have to encounter here on Earth. And there are different routes that we can take, which means that we can keep avoiding learning the lessons, but we are still going to encounter the same lessons in a different situation, in a form of a different person. So you can still navigate your life without actually learning the lesson. This is one thing. But then also, if you consider life to be a game, there exist different levels of the game. You have the beginner, intermediate, and advanced one, which means that I can choose. Well, it's up to me. I can choose to work. Well, okay, they're just interrupting. Well, I can choose to really tap into my essence and my soul, and I can go straight away to the advanced level, which means that I am deciding to peel all the layers of who other people told me to be, because everyone who comes here on earth, we are to remember who we are at our
Level.
soul level. We are an expression of God, God of our own understanding, which means that once we got rid of everything that doesn't belong to us, we transition and we become what people say one with God, with universe, whatever your beliefs are. And I don't know whether you've experienced, maybe it's beautiful to meditate when you go straight up to the other realm and you float and you leave your body and you're just energy and you are not restricted by your body and you're just one with everything. And there's this stillness, peace, quiet.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like Dr. Joe Dispenza says, yeah, become nobody, no thing, nowhere,
Yeah. And
yeah,
this is our purpose, to get rid of everything that we thought
all
we
the
were or other
layers.
people told us. But of course, you have a choice. You might choose here, I am not going to learn that lesson. And then you cross over and then you do a life review and you think, I think I need to, or I want to come back to Earth and maybe I'm going to learn a couple of more lessons. But you can be an eager student of life and you can decide, I am choosing to learn
Yeah.
all of those lessons, bring them all, because I really want to cross over and not to
Mm.
come back and I want to have a different role and I want to do something else, which we will only know 100% what is it about once we've crossed over.
Yeah. And about the dimension, Marta, what is your view on that? Because I'm speaking with a lot of psychic, a lot of mediums, a lot of channelers, and they have all their own specific view. And some of them, because they have these out of body experiences, as you also mentioned, they explain that these are all constructs, the dimensions. And in the 3D dimension, there are many, many, many layers, many levels. And then some say that there is a 4D dimension, fourth dimension in between the third and the fifth. Other ones told me that actually the fourth dimension was the one that created the third dimension, and then we will switch directly to the fifth dimension, which is quite chaotic to me to follow. But I see the logic when they tell me, yeah. What is your vision about all these levels? So, do you see? Can you give us your perception of all these dimensions in the 3D? And if you see also the layers in the fourth or in the fifth.
Yeah. Well, for me, it is very fluid, but let's concentrate on the 3D when we've touched upon those levels, and this is the other thing that Spirit wanted to bring to this conversation, that if you consider time to be non-linear, the way it works in the spirit world, there exists so many versions of you at the same time, the one that's thriving, the one that is not thriving, and to make it simple, there's a third one. And with the power of your thoughts, emotions, then you can quantum jump, which means that you choose to jump, and then you can experience this human experience at a different level. But I think it's all fluid and in the same space. Other parts of the question about dimensions. Well, I definitely know that as a whole, Earth and as the planet, we are being upgraded to the 5D. I see it as fluid. I've never seen like the separation and the level. Spirit has never been separating it. And I channel various collective beings that come through me, and then they keep telling me that every single human being here that has access to those downloads is the person who's able to stabilize the grid of the earth and together, because we can't do it just on our own, together we are then supporting the grid of the earth. This is what I'm seeing right now. And then with tapping into joy, elevating our frequency, people will think, oh, why is it important? But with that simple act of like being joyful, with the act of expanding our heart, we work like naturally. I keep hearing fluidly, and we are able to jump from one dimension to the other. But there's something with the earth that they're showing me. Yes,
Because
so
this
we're
is what
working
I
together.
understand.
Yeah.
It's not separated. So the
No,
shift from third dimension to fifth dimension is not that something is going to disappear and something else is going to appear.
It's already happened. That's what I'm seeing.
It's an
I'm seeing like the
awareness,
color.
yes?
Yes, for me it's an awareness, but also they're showing me the colors because they want us to have something, well, not abstract, but something tangible. They're already, they're showing me like a lava lamp, and then like certain things being already transfused and then like meshed. And what I'm seeing, I'm also seeing a mesh and a filter. Certain things are not allowed into another dimension. Certain things are, but it keeps coming and going. I'm seeing waves of energy as I'm tapping into it. now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I will process all of that and then come back with new questions.
Yes.
It's no, but it's similar to some of the things that I have been told already. And in a way, it's a little bit different. It's like every time I get some information, I can add a little piece to the way I can also visualize all these dimension shifts happening. And the grid, this is also something that has been told me many times, that the more we become aware, the more we are participating in the shift of the planet vibration frequencies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ken, what about you?
Beautiful. Yeah, I was just taking it all in. Um, as we're talking here, I see the conversations you're having with your guides, with all of that. How, they've got something to say to us. What if they were gonna like give us a projection of how our how the future will be? What would they say to that at this moment in time?
My guides normally don't like to talk about the future because they believe it's already happening. Like my son told me the other day, Mom, do you know that future, past, and present, they're all happening at the same time? And one of the guides, I have one guide from Jupiter, I have other from different planets as well. They're showing me a stop sign right now. They really want us to concentrate on here and now, and not to tap into this. I don't, well, I keep hearing the word desperation. There are various people who really want to predict the world events, but I think that can cause too much fear. What I keep hearing, we have a power to create the reality, and we have the power to change the reality. And this is, and as simple and as cliche it sounds, is, well, the message I'm getting, which doesn't answer directly, but I keep hearing love is the answer. And we are to tap into love. And I know it's not well, there's so, what I keep hearing, that as an individual being, there's so much you can do by being a kind person. So we can change the planet, we can change the experience. So everything is in each individual's hands. Nothing I feel is predestined and fixed. Things can shift. And they're really trying to tell me, like, no, like, come back here. Concentrate on what is it happening here and now. This is what I keep hearing and getting.
I love that. I mean, as we project kindness and love and all of those things, we rise to the occasion. We create a better vibration, and I hear that in your message, and love that.
Yeah. I have one last question.
Yes, please.
You mentioned that your son came and told the awareness about time not existing. Yeah, there is no.
Yes.
So, have you had the feeling that one of your children or both, or I don't know how many do you have exactly, did they inherit this ability to communicate with these other realms?
They're both very open, but I don't think they're aware that they are. They definitely are empaths and they pick up on other people's energies. And since they were children, we would pray to guardian angel, but I would do more. It's not only that they know the prayer to guardian angel. I would ask my son, like, what's the name of your guardian angel? What's the message? What is he telling you? So I normalize that, but I've never been like imposing things. There'll be time when they'll have a choice. What is it that they want to do with that? But my daughter, she experienced spirit in her room. I sage our space, and she's been telling me, oh, they are in this wardrobe, are you able to sage there as well? So then I don't tell her, oh no, this is not real. And then I go there as well, and what I do, I always close the chakra and energy centers of my children as well before they go to sleep, but it's under the law of grace, because of course they have their own experience here. So I truly believe they are. I also have various family members who are extremely psychics and they're mediums, but they've never embraced that, or they've never perhaps even known that those people exist. So yeah.
So not everyone comes here to remember how psychic we can be. Yeah. We have to remember who we are, but because we are souls, of course, everybody can be psychic and mediums, but not
Everyone
everybody
is
decides
psychic.
to come here
Yeah.
to remember that.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, you have a choice. Everyone is able to enhance their intuition. Everyone is able to enhance their psychic gifts because we are souls and we have that. It's a choice. And as a muscle with practice, you can become so much more aware and in tune. But it's not everyone's purpose. It's not only about remembering, it's about the purpose and what our souls choose to do in this lifetime. And one of my purposes, and I've never thought that I would be working as a psychic medium. It's nothing that I've chosen like years ago. It found me, and of course, at some point, I said, "Yes, okay, I'm going to do it," because first
Embrace
of
it.
all, I have a beautiful relationship with my own loved ones, and I kept encountering people grieving who were not communicating with their loved ones. And I'm like, no, I want them to be able to have coffee the way I have with my mom in the garden. I want them to be able to sit in the car with their grandfather and still speak. So this was one of the. I can't, it's very difficult to find the right words, but this is something that ignites my soul. Nothing has ever ignited me and I don't believe that there is like one calling, but teaching other people to do it for themselves, teaching other people to, it's not even bringing the power back, but to remember how powerful and intuitive they are. It is something that right now I feel like an expansion in my heart. It's
I
just
feel the
everything.
same. Yes. Yeah. This is beautiful. And where do people find you, Marta, if they want to contact you?
Mm. The easiest place is my website, martathemedium.com, or Instagram, Marta the Medium, and then you will find all other links.
And then you have a
there.
YouTube channel as well.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
it's also Marta the Medium. I have
Yeah.
podcast, Perfectly Imperfect Spiritual Podcast. I have so many different courses, so many offers, but I think for anyone who's curious, the best thing is to browse and allow yourself to trust yourself. Oh, what course or what offer I'm being drawn to. And also, if you don't know what you should do, you can always email me and you can tell me about yourself, and then I can guide you. The decision is always yours. I never am going to tell you you should do it. But yeah, that's where you can find me, and you can. What am I thinking? I have a free gift that I would like to share.
Yes.
Jimmy's my personal assistant that I created for anyone who has never connected with their loved ones and they would like to experience. So this is a free 20-minute guided practice, and then I teach people about the symbols as well and other things that they could start embracing into their day-to-day life. So it is just martathemedium.com/gift.
Okay, beautiful. I'm going to get the gifts.
Yes,
Thank you.
do.
And
Absolutely.
everybody else who watches this, I will actually put in the title, I will add it to stay until the end. so that they know about the gift, about the surprise. Beautiful. This is really beautiful. I am so grateful. And yeah, I never know how these conversations go. You know, it's very much improvisation, but every time I feel so much gratitude for the fact that you took the time to be our guest and you shared your energy, you shared your unique energy, and I could feel it completely. So thank you again. Thank you, Marta.
Oh, thank you to both of you, and thank you to your listeners, to viewers. I can truly feel it, and I'm so grateful as well, because I just love speaking about the mystical, the spiritual side of life, because I don't know, I love to bring the component of magic into day-to-day life. So yeah, I love what you're both doing, and yeah, thank you for inviting me to
And who
speak with
knows,
you.
maybe there will be a second and a third and a fourth time. Who knows?
Who knows?
Thank you, Ken. Thank you very much for
Thank you so much.
the support and everything. Yeah, all the beautiful questions that you also ask. So I'm going to stop the recording, and I'm going to remind the people who are watching this video that you are very welcome to connect with Marta. And if you have a story to share, connect with us, with Ken or me, and let's tell your story too. Bye-bye.
Bye.